Although this name might seem unfamiliar and hard to pronounce, I'll butcher their name first. This is Pyotr Tchaikovsky. He was a Russian composer who was alive in the Romantic period. He died at age of 53 with many accomplishments in music. He was also the second of 6 siblings that he's related to. Tchaikovsky spent 3 years at St. Petersburg, where he studied harmony with Nikolai Zaremba and later studied composition and instruments. He is known for pairing traditions of Western music with the Russian themes. Also, with the lack of education in Russia, his parents thought their high-strung kid would have a career in civil service, not music. Clearly, he caught his parents off guard. Some of his successful and most well-known ballets consist of Swan Lake in 1876, The Sleeping Beauty in 1889, and of course The Nutcracker in 1892. An interesting fact about Tchaikovsky is that he suffered from severe antisocial behavior and irrational stage fright. During his guest conductor appearances, he would hold his hand on his head because he feared that it would become detached from his body. What an interesting fella. Now let's dive into this popular composition called The Nutcracker March in 1892 during the Romantic period by Pyotr Tchaikovsky. And for some background, this composition became one of the most played compositions during the winter season. The original ballet is based off of Hoffman's fairy tale The Nutcracker and the Mouse King. Tchaikovsky was the musical mastermind behind this ballet. Tchaikovsky produced 3 ballets, this being his third and last. And lastly, the original content for the work was generated from a radio performance preceding the Christmas message of King George in 1947. Trumpets start off the composition setting the tone of royalty. It's an 18-note trumpet followed by uplifting violin response. We can visualize the pattern with these toots. The main theme is repeated 2 times, altered for 2, then back. There's a strong example of crescendo woven between trumpets with the violins increasing in loudness. Here's what I mean. The second theme features a leitmotif, followed by a stronger response from the trumpets. The leitmotif starts with a fast blowing by the flute, accompanied by fast playing of the strings. Now, how does this composition stand out? There's a different tones between the played instruments, the brass being played a serious tone, grabbing attention, and the strings have a tone of dancing around with loose movement. How to better remember this composition is connecting tones with the instruments being played. Trumpets cause tighter and less group movement, and the strings cause looser and more free movement. I have a visual example showing this movement to the song. So to summarize, this is the composition March within the Nutcracker by Pyotr Tchaikovsky in the Romantic period. Again, how to remember this composition is think of the changing between tension and looseness when hearing the violins or strings with the brass. And then finally, this is a ballet with deep and compelling dance to tell a story.